Hello everyone. It's getting kind of late, but that's when I do some of my best thinking is when I'm by myself, quiet and outside. I'm usually outside. um, what I wanted to talk about is that all of us, mostly all of us, have been in a relationship in our lives where it was difficult. Um, the particular relationship I'm talking about, and it could be with a parent, it could be with a sibling sometimes, usually older. It could be with, a spouse, a former spouse. These relationships are really a friend even. Um, or an acquaintance type friend. But what happens is in these relationships, there comes a point, there's that point initially where you just think everything's hunky-dory, except with parents. Okay? You grow up with these people. But in other instances, there's sometimes a fun time for a while, and then it changes. The true person shows up a lot of times, and that's kind of scary, but yes, it happens. There's a lot of manipulation going on, and a lot of lying going on in the world. People aren't being raised right, or we've got mental health problems that aren't identified. But you're in this relationship with this particular person, and there comes a point where you realize you're walking on eggshells around them, because there are certain times or things that trigger them, and it could be an action that you do, it could be something you didn't do, it could be something you said or did not say that you should have according to them. It could be a numerous amount of things. And what you begin to realize is it just depends usually on their mood and their need to be a victim and you to be wrong. So then, you're no longer yourself around them at all. If you live with them, you wake up one day and you don't even know who you are anymore when you look in the mirror. You grow up with parents like that, and you try and stay away from them eventually if you're healthy at all. Or a parent, or whomever. But it's exhausting being around people like that who need to be a victim when you're actually the victim of them. And you get blamed for their neurosis. So there seems to be a bunch of those running around. Now that's what they portray on TV. I'm not so sure how many there are exactly. And unfortunately, there could be people with colored hair and stuff that are conservative. Now that's not the larger percentage, but there can be. But unfortunately, because visually I have an idea of who may be more absurdly, I don't even know what to call it anymore. That are just, it's a different type of victim mentality. If they don't have a reason, they create a reason to be a victim. And if they have a reason, they latch on to that reason and they will not let go for dear life. So they never get well. Never. And it just snowballs. And they get more and more ill. Because that victimhood is that blanket. That victimhood is that safe space that they so desperately need, that they have to build it and create them and put them in places and demand it be there. To not only remind themselves and have that where they like to be in their victimhood, away, isolated for a while, drawing attention to themselves, being able to tell people that that's where they had to go for an hour because they just couldn't calm down because of somebody else. That's the extreme. But the extreme is what's accepted. And as long as it's accepted, the extreme is going to spread. And it'll spread into other areas. So when you identify, or unfortunately misidentify, but think that they could possibly be one, you avoid them. You don't want to have a conversation with that person. Because anything you say or do, just being yourself and being misinterpreted, could be totally misconstrued. Because they look at everything through the lens of, you are after me. I am a victim. So you could say something as simply as, like jokingly, you know how those people in Mississippi are? You know how they are? I don't really know what that means, but that's just used as an example and kind of a shout out to Mississippi Talker. But you know how those people in Mississippi are? And you're talking to somebody maybe of a different culture, and they say, what do you mean by those people in Mississippi? And when all you're doing is jokingly saying, you know, all the people in Mississippi, because poor Mississippi's been picked on for generations, and, you know, the history, and there are great people there, and I have family, ancestors who live there. So, hats off to Mississippi. But you understand what I mean. And Lord knows I'm right next door. So, but you understand what I mean by somebody misinterpreting what you're saying. Everything, they can't even take anything in jest or as a joke or just a whimsical saying. It's you know, you can't talk to them. So why would you want to even hold a conversation? So what better way to divide people than to create this, you know, division? It's perfection. They did it, and they did it well. Because at my age, I don't have time for that nonsense. I am not having these conversations. I already told you, and I've said it twice to people. Happy Halloween. And just walk off. I'm not entertaining this. I'm not entertaining this at all. And then I was listening to another podcast, and a man was talking about men being rewarded. You know, like a video of a man doing his little girl's hair, you know, one day, and it gets millions of views, but nobody does a video of the woman who brushed her hair the other 364 days that year. But him brushing her hair is something special. Or a man just being around needs to be congratulated and, you know, awarded for being a father, when that's what you should do. And then the same for a woman. You know, but it's not, women are kind of more expected to do those things. Now, many are falling short. And many are making poor choices in the partner category, including myself in the past. Right now, I am fantastic and have been for, nearly 12 years now. So, you know, it took me a while to figure that part out. So I'm speaking from experience. This is like watching my life, but like on a macro scale, with some of the characters I've had to deal with in the past. Not exact, but similar. It's like an infestation. You know, where you get called crazy, but it's truly the infestation of the crazies. And it's sad, because I don't even want to take a chance to even get close to anybody and take the time, because what if? You know, because we look different, or we whatever, you know, I'm afraid that I'm going to say one thing or do one thing that's going to be misinterpreted because of the lens that they view everything through. And it's just not worth it. It's just not. To me. So, it's sad. It's truly sad. But if anybody's wondering what the, 50-somethings are thinking in the United States of America, that's a little bit of it. But there are those of us that are sane that are not put on the television. And we know better. And there's more of us than they want us to know. So, have faith in that. And if we have to, we'll find each other. We'll be pretty easy to identify. We'll be the calm ones who have a little bit of knowledge about what to do. You'll be able to spot the others too. Just what you see now, but even more unhinged. I will talk to y'all later. Bye for now.